Alright, look, I'm convinced that Sexyy Red is the CIA's final boss. This is a real-life Boondocks character. Bro, have y'all seen her new makeup line? Look, I shouldn't even be giving this the publicity, but I have to show y'all. And yes, this is real. This is not fake. Sexyy Red is coming out with a lip gloss line with lip glosses named Yellow Discharge, Coochie Juice, and Booty Hole Brown. Yeah, nah, this has got to be a humiliation ritual. Bro, you gonna have all these single baby mamas spending their money not on a tutor for their child who can't count to 10 without using their fingers, but on some Booty Hole Brown lip gloss that she can wear to the next Sexyy Red concert as she sings along to Fuck My Baby Daddy while her baby's at home starving, eating sleep for dinner. This is peak late stage hip hop. This is the CIA doing victory laps. Every dime spent on this degenerate bullshit is a dime spent supporting a machine and industry dedicated to destroying the black community from the outside and within. We must ask ourselves, why is this comically degenerate caricature and perpetuation of the most negative stereotypes of the black community, most specifically black women, being pushed so hard by our algorithms, media, music industry, and programming platforms? Who exactly has to gain from all of this? Because it certainly isn't the black community whom she so unfortunately represents. Who would have to gain from painting black people as a monolith and painting the image of said monolith to be frivolous, promiscuous, violent, dangerous, classless, and totally degenerate in every conceivable sense? Follow the money and all your questions will be answered. And why aren't these same traits being painted within other communities by the music industry? No group or genre promoting such degenerate material is collabing with massive brands and franchises like Call of Duty, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Fortnite, etc. Look, this is far deeper than just the music. This is programming and brainwashing. There's a goal to all of this. Look, one thing I feel a lot of people have mistaken is the spotlight shining on women like Sexyy Red in the industry isn't about praising black women. It's about vilifying them, objectifying them, sexualizing them, and laughing at them. Folks aren't laughing with her, they're laughing at her. It's about humiliating black women, and Sexyy Red herself has even taken part in this. Sexyy Red referred to women with 4C hair, a hair type most black people naturally have, as carpet hair beanie neck hoes, as she showed off her straight hair, which is often referred to as white people hair. Then she goes and sells y'all some lip gloss called Booty Hole Brown. I mean, she's literally making y'all kiss her ass right now. This is clown makeup. I feel this is more about humiliating black women in the black community as a whole than it is about anything else. When you have 67% of our black youth living in single parent households and you have a black woman with a massive hit that took his Fuck My Baby Daddy, you've got a problem. She's practically rubbing the community's face in their own shit. And you got somebody else at the top collecting a buck for every single click y'all give it. I mean, at what point do you ask yourself, is she being paid to push a message? And is this message harmful to the community? Something y'all gotta remember is Sexyy Red was meticulously selected for this job. She was handpicked by a certain group of individuals at the top to spread a message and image. And who do these messages and images hurt the most? You would be incredibly naive to think that Sexyy Red just miraculously blew up. None of this is coincidental. Nothing of this magnitude happens by coincidence in the music industry. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry with all sorts of strings and levers being pulled behind the scenes. Everything you see and hear is deliberate and by design. And trust me, her talent is not what blew her up. The real appeal was her image and message. It's not about the sound of the music, because if that were the case, we all know people like her and Ice Spice wouldn't even have a career. Once again, it's about the image and the message, and how said images and messages can impact the perception of the black community within society. Sexyy Red doesn't represent every black woman in America, obviously, but the industry isn't concerned with representing all black women, but just the ones who can perpetuate and embody the negative stereotypes. If the industry can get enough black women on board to throw their entire community under the bus and sell their own people out in order to promote degeneracy for fortune and fame, then the one-sided narrative they like to paint will be painted. There is a reason they reach down in the gutters to find women like Sexyy Red to give massive platforms to, because if they give this same platform to a free-thinking, classy, intellectual, and elegant black woman, they'd not only destroy the narrative that said black women don't exist or come very few and far between, but they know that these women will use their platforms to talk about real issues and could potentially threaten or overthrow their system and narrative. People like Sexyy Red are sellouts who were enticed in a moment of desperation to destroy their own for riches and fame. And they're not just artists, but they're serving a much deeper and darker cause. They're cogs in a machine designed to destroy the black community, starting with the image and reinforcing the worst stereotypes imaginable to destroy said image. I mean, just look how Kamala Harris appeals to black folks. What did she do? She brought Megan Thee Stallion out to shake some ass on stage. That's what she thinks of us. That's what these elites think of us. You gotta remember, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And the thing is this, because this is a very complicated issue. A large part of the black community have been speaking out about this shit, but honestly, not enough. And at the end of the day, Sexyy Red is a black woman, and she's a product of her environment, and that environment is a predominantly black one. And the truth is, her story does inspire and resonate with a lot of black folks out there because she's from the same place a lot of black folks come from, and it gives them hope, and hope is like a drug. So it could be difficult for a lot of people to not embrace and support her when she's making it out of the same situation that they themselves may be in, and they're proud to see her make it out. The problem is she's not being responsible with her platform and influence, and whether she likes it or not, or whether certain people want to admit it or not, she does have a massive platform and she does have massive influence over her own community. Nobody is forcing her to act this way. She's a grown-ass adult and she's making her own grown-ass decisions, but she's being rewarded with more and more fame, money, and influence every step of the way, acting like a complete goddamn degenerate. Look, we can scold Sexyy Red and blame the powers that be all we want, but she wouldn't sell if there was nobody in line to buy. This is supply and demand. See, in order for any of this to work, the black community must buy into it and embrace it to some extent. And just as there are tons of black folks who are absolutely disgusted with this type of degenerate behavior and are sick and tired of being associated with it, there are also tons of black folks who buy into it and embrace it. Some people just don't care what sort of impact this is all going to have on the community as a whole. They're not thinking that deep into it. You could try to tell them all you want, but they'll just tell you it's not that deep and that it doesn't really matter, it has nothing to do with them, and just let her chase her bag. If the community as a whole were all on the same page and collectively shamed and rejected individuals like her from representing our community at any capacity whatsoever, they'd all be out of a career. But that isn't the case. I see a lot of people too afraid to say this part out loud, but a lot of black folks love Sexyy Red, and they're the reason that she has a career in the first place. Obviously not all, and I'd argue that most black folks think she's ratchet and bad for the image of the community as a whole, but enough like her for her to sell out her shows to black crowds. Imagine if when she originally went viral, everybody said, nah, turn this shit off, like we do with all these woke rappers, she'd slip right back into the gutter. But that's not what happened. What really happened was everybody hit the share button. They checked out her Spotify. They went tweeting about her and getting her name trending, bought her albums, bought her tickets, and now she's one of the fastest growing black artists in the world and a representative for the image of the black community across the globe. And like it or not, you got little kids in other countries who've never met a black person in their life who know who Sexyy Red is, and they're singing along to her songs. And it's not even just other countries. I mean, there's plenty of places in the US where you'll very rarely see any black people. You know, people forget that black folks in this country are a minority. We make up like 13.6% of the population. So this applies to a lot more people than you may believe. And this is the image that they're left to work with since they've never had the opportunity to meet real black folks and see that she actually isn't an accurate representation at all. We can't keep letting people like this influence and produce our images and our messages. I want to see people shut this ratchet bullshit down with the same quickness everybody shuts these woke rappers down with, who actually try to talk about real shit with actual substance. Folks are so quick to give Ice Spice a career, but won't give a shred of light to a dude who's actually trying to bring substance to the table. Motherfuckers just want ass, murder, and 808s.